What if I told you that the American dream of homeownership is facing its biggest transformation in over a century? The real estate market that once built the middle class is evolving in ways that would shock investors from just 20 years ago. Today, we're taking you on a journey through America's real estate history, from its explosive boom to the present day, and we'll reveal what the next 10 to 15 years hold for property ownership in America. Buckle up, because what you're about to discover might change how you think about real estate forever. Let's rewind to 1946, the year that changed American real estate forever. World War II had just ended, and 16 million servicemen were returning home, ready to start families and build lives. This is when the real estate boom truly began in America. The catalyst? The GI Bill signed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1944. This groundbreaking legislation offered returning veterans low interest, zero down payment home loans. Suddenly, homeownership wasn't just for the wealthy, it was accessible to the average American family. Enter William Levitt, the man who would revolutionize housing in 1947. Levitt broke ground on Levittown, New York, the first major suburban development. Using assembly line techniques borrowed from Henry Ford, Levitt could build a house in just 16 minutes of labor time. These homes sold for $7,990, roughly $100,000 in today's dollars. Compare that to the median home price now, and you'll see just how much has changed. The post-war boom created an entirely new landscape. Suburban America was born. Between 1946 and 1958, housing starts jumped from 114,000 to 1.7 million annually. The Federal Housing Administration, established in 1934, provided mortgage insurance that made lenders more willing to offer 30-year mortgages. Before this, most mortgages required 50% down payments and were due in full after 5 to 10 years. The market during this era was simple: buy a home, watch it appreciate, build generational wealth. The homeownership rate climbed from 44% in 1940 to 64% by 1980. Real estate was the cornerstone of the American dream. But the journey wasn't always smooth. Several seismic events reshaped American real estate over the decades. The 1970s stagflation crisis. Interest rates skyrocketed, reaching an astronomical 18% by 1981. Home ownership became prohibitively expensive for many Americans. Yet property values surged as real estate became an inflation hedge. The savings and loan crisis of the 1980s. Over 1,000 savings and loan institutions failed, costing taxpayers $132 billion. This crisis led to stricter banking regulations and changed how mortgages were originated and sold. The 2008 financial crisis, the big one. Subprime mortgage lending, predatory practices, and Wall Street's securitization of risky loans created a housing bubble that devastated the global economy. Housing prices plummeted by 33% nationally. Foreclosures reached record highs, 2.9 million in 2010 alone. Key players like Lehman Brothers collapsed, while others like Countrywide Financial became symbols of reckless lending. This crisis introduced us to names that became infamous. Angelo Mazzillo of Countrywide, who promoted subprime lending, and institutions like Bear Stearns and AIG, whose collapse nearly brought down the financial system. On the regulatory side, the Dodd-Frank Act of 2010 attempted to prevent future crises through stricter lending standards. The recovery was slow, but it brought new players into the game. BlackRock, Invitation Homes, and other institutional investors began buying tens of thousands of single-family homes, converting them to rentals. This marked a fundamental shift. Real estate was no longer just about individual home ownership. It had become an asset class for Wall Street. Fast forward to 2025, and the real estate landscape looks dramatically different. The numbers tell the story. The median home price in America is approximately $420,000, up from $165,000 in 2000. Meanwhile, median household income has only grown from $42,000 to about $75,000 in the same period. Do the math, homes have become significantly less affordable relative to income. Mortgage rates, after hitting historic lows of 2.65% during the pandemic, have climbed back to the 6 to 7% range. This has created a lock-in effect where homeowners with low-rate mortgages refuse to sell, constraining inventory and keeping prices elevated. New power players. Beyond traditional institutions, we now have iBuyers like Opendoor and OfferPad using algorithms to make instant offers. Companies like Zillow attempted to flip homes using AI but famously lost hundreds of millions. The rise of real estate technology, PropTech, has transformed how we search, finance, and purchase properties.
Demographic shifts. Millennials, now the largest home buying demographic, face student loan debt averaging $30,000 per borrower and are delaying home ownership to their 30s. Generation Z is even more skeptical about traditional home ownership, having watched their parents struggle through the 2008 crisis. Remote work revolution. The pandemic fundamentally altered where people want to live. Secondary cities like Austin, Boise, and Nashville saw explosive growth as workers fled expensive coastal markets. This trend continues reshaping regional real estate dynamics. The current market is characterized by high prices, limited inventory, affordability challenges, and institutional ownership at levels never seen before. But what comes next might surprise you even more. Looking ahead to 2035-2040, several powerful trends will reshape American real estate. 1. The Great Wealth Transfer. Baby boomers will transfer an estimated $84 trillion to younger generations over the next 2 decades. This inheritance boom will create a bifurcated market. Those who inherit property or wealth will thrive, while those who don't will struggle with affordability. Expect wealth inequality in real estate to accelerate. 2. Climate migration. Rising sea levels, wildfires, and extreme weather will make certain regions uninsurable or uninhabitable. Coastal Florida, parts of California, and low-lying areas will see property value declines. Climate-resilient cities in the upper Midwest and Pacific Northwest may become the new hotspots. We'll see the first major American climate refugees moving domestically. 3. Technology integration. Smart homes will become standard, not luxury. AI-powered property management, blockchain-based transactions, and tokenized real estate ownership will democratize access to property investment. You'll be able to own fractional shares of properties across the country through digital platforms. 4. The rental nation. Home ownership rates may decline further as institutional investors control larger portions of single-family homes. By 2040, we could see 35 to 40% of single-family homes owned by corporations rather than individuals. This financialization of housing will fundamentally change the American dream narrative. 5. Urban transformation. With remote work entrenched, office buildings will convert to residential at unprecedented rates. Downtowns will be repurposed as mixed-use neighborhoods. Meanwhile, suburbs will densify with accessory dwelling units and multi-generational housing becoming normalized. 6. Policy interventions. Expect more aggressive government responses to the housing crisis. This could include federal first-time homebuyer programs, caps on institutional investors, zoning reform to allow more density, and potentially even social housing programs modeled after Vienna or Singapore. 7. New housing models. Co-living spaces, tiny home communities, and manufactured housing will shed their stigma and become mainstream. 3D printed homes, already being built in Texas and California, will scale nationally, reducing construction costs by 30–50%. The market in 2040 will likely feature higher prices in climate-safe areas, more rental options but less ownership opportunity for average earners, significant regional disparities, and technology-driven transactions. The American dream of home ownership won't die. It will simply be redefined and, unfortunately, less accessible to many. From the post-war boom of 1946 to the algorithmic markets of 2025, American real estate has been on an incredible journey. We've seen it build the middle class, survive multiple crashes, and transform into a sophisticated asset class that shapes our economy. The next 15 years will test whether America can maintain the promise of home ownership that built this nation's middle class, or whether we'll become a nation of renters controlled by institutional landlords. Climate change, technology, demographics, and policy will all play crucial roles in determining which path we take. One thing is certain: understanding these trends isn't just academic, it's essential for anyone looking to build wealth, make smart housing decisions, or simply understand where America is headed. If you found this deep dive valuable, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more educational content that cuts through the noise and gives you the real story behind the headlines. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss our analysis on economics, real estate, and the forces shaping our world. See you in the next video.